and vanilla and things like that.
And we're live.
Hey. Hi there. Welcome to the 131 Kitchen. My name is Ashley Sweeney and I'm the lead dietitian with the 131. And today we have with us Mareya from Eat Cleaner. Welcome, Mareya. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We are so excited to talk about produce and fruits and vegetables and keeping ourselves healthy.
Yes.
Keeping ourselves safe. Keeping our families healthy. And so we, in light of the recent outbreak with romaine lettuce, is really why we wanted to get you here too, because you have an amazing product that we already use and we already love within 131.
Thank you.
But we want to make sure everybody else knows how to keep themselves healthy and safe.
Definitely.
So introduce Eat Cleaner. If you haven't already heard of Eat Cleaner is Mareya's amazing product, which keeps us safe and helps wash our produce, get off all the bacteria. And why don't you talk about a little bit about the romaine lettuce outbreak and why it's so important that we need to talk about it, that we needed to do a PSA on it, and we needed to bring you here today.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, because I think the more people that understand what's happening, the better. So it was announced on Friday the 13th, actually. I'll never forget that date of April 13th, that there was a large romaine lettuce outbreak, but there was no recall issued because they couldn't find the source of where that romaine lettuce was coming from. So that was our first initial understanding that something was going on. By the time they realized what was happening, already over 40 people had gotten sick and about half had been hospitalized. Now, fast forward to May 1st, May Day, we now have 121 people who have gotten sick from
120 people
from the recall, or from the outbreak rather, and about half have been hospitalized, which is a huge number for an E. coli outbreak. The sad thing is 14 have had kidney failure and 1 has died here in California. So the disconcerting part right now is we still don't know what the source is. We have no idea where this lettuce is coming from. They've isolated it to a geography of Yuma, Arizona, but other than that, we have no idea. And it was chopped romaine. So, when you buy chopped romaine, you probably think, well, that's safe to eat because it's already been washed for me.
It came in the bag that I saved somewhere.
Yeah.
That even says pre-washed. You don't need to wash it again. That's what you always think when you see the lettuce that's ready to go. Right.
And the fact is, if an outbreak can happen with something like this, and this is the worst outbreak, multi-state outbreak, it's affected 25 states since 2006, you know that washing with water alone really isn't going to cut it.
And that this isn't the first time that this happens on a regular basis in the U.S. either. It's not this big of a problem. It's not this big of a worry because usually they catch exactly where the farm is, or they know exactly where the source is early enough, and they recall it from those shelves. And you're saying that they have not even been able to recall it because... So potentially this lettuce sitting here, is that romaine lettuce? We just have to be really careful.
That's right. Yeah, they haven't been able to recall it because they don't know where it's coming from. So the lettuce that you have sitting in your refrigerator, maybe you've gone to the store and you find actually they're not even carrying romaine lettuce because they don't want to take a gamble.
This was the only bag that I found at Sprouts. There was only one. Yeah. Normally there's multiple bags of romaine lettuce. That's interesting you said that.
Yeah, definitely. So what we want to share is, I've spent half my career basically addressing food safety, coming from a food background, and I think that it's really important as home cooks, as people who are really protecting their family's plate, to know what the risks are, but know that there's also a solution and there's ways to lower your risk of getting sick.
Now, we're going to demo some of this, and we're going to show you how to use some of this, and what the difference is before it's been washed and after it's been washed. But we just talked about at home, but what about when you're out at restaurants and they have a salad bar with romaine lettuce, or you're going to a smoothie bar and they're making their kale smoothie for you, or even those types of places? Yeah,
I mean, anywhere you are going out to eat, you always have to ask the question, how clean is this food? Especially if it's raw, because if it's raw, that means there's no cooking kill step. Not to mention, if it's raw, there's also the risk of pesticide residue and other potential contaminants. So you really have to ask, what are they doing? We actually created a wash for food service. So for juice bars, for restaurants, I don't think it's a bad thing to say, ask how they're washing it. You should never feel bad asking the question. No. And if they can't answer you, then you have to kind of think twice. I've had friends who have gone out to eat thinking they were going to a good place, all raw and organic and clean food, and then they end up with a bad case of food poisoning or something
it
that
happens all the time with food poisoning. You don't know it. You just think, oh, I got a little bug, or oh, my stomach hurts, or oh, you're just in the bathroom all day. A lot of times we don't associate that with our food, or maybe the juice bar that we just had. Sometimes we're so disconnected from thinking there could have been a problem at the restaurant.
Yes.
Sometimes I think, we've kind of talked about that before with food safety here in the kitchen. So I think that's so important.
Well, sometimes people think they have the flu because you can have flu-like symptoms, right? You can start to feel nauseous, you can start to feel warm, and maybe, other associated symptoms. We don't want to go there, but it can be from that to very extreme. And the cases where people are actually having kidney failure, the median age of people that were affected by this outbreak is 29.
Wow.
So we're talking a young demographic.
Yeah, and normally when we are worried about foodborne illnesses or even these types of problems is because somebody already has an immune system that's compromised. So maybe a senior citizen or maybe even a young child, which it's still scary in those situations, or somebody who already is sick and their immune system can't take one more little bug. But what this case is showing us in this romaine lettuce outbreak is it's not just those people who we have to be worried about. So it's everybody. It's us. Yeah. So we need to keep ourselves safe. So why don't we show which one were we going to start with?
Let's show the broccoli, because I think, sometimes it's hard when you can't see the difference, right? You can't see E. coli. You can't see pesticides. But what you can see is this little demonstration. I call this the magic broccoli trick. But normally you bring your produce home, right? You run it under water. It just kind of beads up, rolls off, and doesn't really do anything because of the shape of the produce, and oftentimes it's waxed, so nothing is going to penetrate that wax.
So, and I'm guilty of that sometimes too. We just get home, just throw it under the water real quick, just rinse it real quick, dry it off, and you're done. That's what I think a lot of people do.
A lot of people do that. Only about 50% of people actually wash their produce 50%? With water.
Well, I think that survey is accurate. Yeah.
We could break that habit. Yeah. So if you take the Eat Cleaner, we formulated Eat Cleaner to really remove what water can't. So it's adhering to the waxes, the pesticide residue that's not water soluble, meaning no amount of rinsing is going to get that water off, because it's wax based, it's petroleum based a lot of the time. Immediately you can kind of see the color difference, if you can see that.
I can see it. Can you guys see it on? Yeah, that's a big difference.
You can see how bright and green that is. Wow. But here's kind of where you really see the proof is if you take that same water and you run it over the top, it just runs right through the broccoli.
Oh yeah, before it wasn't even kind of soaking into it.
Before it was just beating up and rolling off.
Right off of it.
So this is telling you that it's really getting under the surface to clean what water can't. Yeah. And you can even see like this one that we rinsed, the water's just still sitting on the top.
Pokey. Is that a word I can use? This one feels more real. This looks fake, like it has the wax and everything on it, and this looks real.
That's the way your broccoli should look. It should be that bright green.
And these were conventional, so we didn't buy organic to show today. But what's the difference between conventional and organic? Is it still going to have the same effects?
Yeah, so sometimes even with organic produce, you're finding that they're using organic waxes on there. So there are approved waxes, which can still seal dirt and bacteria. Right. And actually you run a higher risk with organic produce of getting contamination because of the use of fertilizers and organic, manures and things like that are used in the growing process that have a higher tendency to carry E. coli and other foodborne pathogens. So
that is
cool. And the thing is too is you eat with your eyes, so when food looks nice, it makes it more appealing. And our product also removes up to 99% of the pesticide residue. Wow. So anything that's sitting on there, it's going to wash away.
So, and you rinsed it right off. Are you supposed to let the e-cleaner sit on it for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Or can you just spray and rinse?
Ideally, you're letting it sit for about 2 minutes. Okay. So our lab testing shows that with 2 minutes of soak time with the spray, you're removing up to 99.9% of the bacteria, pesticides, and wax. Cool. I'm going to show you next our newest product. It's the powder wash. This product actually works in just 30 to 60 seconds. Okay. So you're cutting your time, and this is great for meal prep. I know with 131, it's very produce heavy. You're using a lot of fruits and vegetables. And this is a great way to clean all your produce when you bring it home, your big grocery haul. Cool, you can just soak everything all at once. So you're going to take about 1 gallon of water. We've got a little bit more of that. You're just going to take, it's a pre-portioned packet. It's got a little notch on the side.
In the sink too?
Yeah,
just
you can
your sink out
just
and
a
do it right
sterilized sink because the sink can be
disgusting.
A pretty dirty, nasty place.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can get just a 1 gallon plastic container and do it that way, but you're just going to add the powder. This is all natural plant-based material. Everything is allergen-free. Sometimes we get questions of, do you use anything with corn or nuts or anything like that? Everything is allergen-free and non-GMO, and it's safe to use on organic produce too. And then we created kind of the soak system.
Yeah.
So
these are the grapes. We put some grapes in there.
Yeah, so we have the produce bags, and you can just, it's a mesh produce bag, and you can take this to the store too, by the way, if you're, or the farmer's market, instead of taking a plastic bag. Just drop it into your sink or into the tank, and we can do the same thing.
Lettuce, so we already have
so
lettuce
we're
in
doing
there.
the romaine, and I'm just going to say, like, even if you're buying pre-washed
like that?
lettuce or greens, just do me a favor and do it again.
What about the strawberries?
Yeah, let's do the strawberries too. Let's load those up. I've got a bag right here. These are actually organic strawberries, but like I said, I mean, we've talked to some of the top experts in food safety in the country, and they will tell you that organic produce, you need to pay more attention to cleaning it than even conventional, because
and I think we think the opposite.
Yes,
we normally do. So.
Well, you think pesticides.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you can still use pesticides on organic produce. It's just approved pesticides. So we're going to drop it into our solution that's already pre-mixed. I like to tell people to agitate their produce. Don't agitate your loved ones, but you can agitate your produce. And just move it around.
This would be fun for the kids to do. I can see my girls helping with this task.
Kids
they
love this.
Being in the kitchen with me. They love helping. So I can see this being really fun.
And it's very safe, low risk. You let that sit for about 30 to 60 seconds. We'll take it out. Just give it a quick rinse and then let it air dry, and you can put it right back in your refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
And when it comes to safety, I always have to show this because people think like, oh my gosh, I'm putting a chemical on my produce. Right. It's not a chemical, it's just natural ingredients, safe enough to spray right in your mouth. So you can feel confident that your kids, if they're touching it or using it and they get it on their hands or on their face or think it's funny to spray each other, you can feel safe doing that.
All right, so then do I dry these or do we rinse it again?
Yeah, we'll just give it a quick rinse.
Okay. We have this one over here.
Just run that over, and the rinsing is just really getting whatever that junk that we took off. It's just removing it. That's it. That's not the wash step though, because if you think about it, I mean, what else do we wash with water alone? You don't wash your dishes with water. You don't wash your hands. You don't wash your dog. You don't wash your clothes. You don't wash anything with water alone. So why would you wash the produce that comes from the ground? That's been touched by 30 sets of hands, that's been fertilized, that's been trucked, and even in the grocery store, the farmer's market, you don't know who's sneezed on it or touched it or whatever.
I hate thinking about how, as I'm walking through the grocery store, how many people are watching the sick person who just sniffled their nose and goes in and touches the same food you just touched. Or I've seen my daughter sneeze all over the food. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's
the ew factor. So I think it's good to take a look at like the before and afters too, kind of see these side by side so you can see what the product is doing. Even look at how pretty the strawberries look. Amazing.
Go ahead and bring it more. Look at that. So these were the washed ones, washed, and these were just normally just not washed with the e-cleaner.
And for people who are you're buying your produce, I mean, just know that strawberries are picked and packed in the field. I mean, there's no sanitation in those fields. So please don't taste test in the store. I always get really sketched out when I see that. But, we really need to take food safety into our own hands, because by the time an outbreak happens, it's too late. And if you're waiting for a recall and it never happens, you're basically a sitting duck. And we don't want you to feel that way. We want you to feel that you can eat an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables and not feel worried. Now, is it the silver bullet, like 100%? nothing is.
Right.
But if you can lower your risk by 99.99%, why wouldn't you do that? And also get some added shelf life out of your produce.
Right, because I have seen that when I use Eat Cleaner, my produce lasts so much longer. So it's just better bang for your buck with your produce too. So
yeah, we're actually, is that the bowl of unwashed?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is actually, we formulated our product, and it's the only one on the market that's lab proven and patented to do this, but as a way to remove bacteria and extend shelf life. So you can get up to 5 times longer out of your produce than if you were to just rinse it with water. So do it when you come home.
Right away.
Do it in your sink in the tank with the powder. This is the only powder wash on the market. It's a pretty cool
now, in the powder
way
too,
to do it.
I can put that, could I make the powder and put it in my own little spray bottle if I
You can
wanted
put
to?
it in a spray bottle. Okay. It'll last you about a month.
Okay, cool.
If you use it, and I would suggest if you're mixing it yourself to refrigerate it.
Okay.
Just keep it in the refrigerator because there are no preservatives or anything added to our product. And we also have wipes for when you're on the go. So,
cool.
you know, if you're
these are for you.
Yeah.
Some of these.
Grab an apple, or right now stone fruit is in season. So plums, peaches, nectarines, all those yummy things. You just take the wipe, rub the outside. You can clean 3 or 4 pieces of produce. It doesn't have a smell. It's unscented. So, and it's biodegradable. The wipe itself can go into a compost. And then we also have a seafood and poultry wash. Yeah. Now, it's funny because chicken and beef are not even on the top 10 list of foods that can cause foodborne illness, but eggs are. Oh, okay. So you can use, and there was a huge egg recall recently. You can use this to clean the surface of your eggs before you crack them.
That makes so much sense too, because how much bacteria can live on the egg, and if you're just cracking it right into where you're eating, and then it's all of our hands too. That makes so much sense.
Definitely. So that's kind of, and then I talked a little bit about the food service pack. I mean, I'm one of those obnoxious people that ask, you know, is it wild caught or farm raised? Is it this or that? But I don't think there's anything wrong with asking, how do you wash your produce?
I don't think so either.
And if you like, you know, if you want to feel safe and you go out to eat at a certain place and you really like that place, but you would love if they did the right thing, you know, ask the question.
Right. And we teach too, you have to stand up for yourself when you're ordering just anything, you know. Can I get vegetables instead of fries? You know, it's just asking and being in charge of your own health and taking control of it.
Definitely.
So that's what this can help us do. So
definitely.
Well, are there any questions out there? Anybody have any questions? Yeah, Lisa?
So someone asked, what do you recommend for frozen fruits and vegetables?
Oh, what about frozen fruits and vegetables?
That's a great question. I would suggest you wash those, you know, because a lot of the time, you know, even though there's a heat process usually or a cold process immediately, which helps to address the bacteria, if it's thawed or if it's been mishandled, you still have a risk there. You can still go back and wash them, even if they're frozen.
Okay, great. Lisa, any more?
Yeah. Someone said that they've heard that when you wash your fruits and vegetables that they can go bad quicker. So what do you recommend doing it right when you get home or waiting until you're going to consume?
Yeah, that's a good question too, because when you quote wash with water alone, it can actually introduce bacteria. But this product is formulated to prevent the growth of bacteria. So it's a little bit different than just using water alone. And you definitely can use it right when you bring home your produce to get that added shelf life.
That's awesome, because I've done berries right away, and they do go bad if you just use water, if you're not washing them properly. So with Eat Cleaner, it'll make them last longer.
Definitely.
So. I think Instagram was the way to get started. Can you clarify the name of the product?
Oh, yes, this is Eat Cleaner. If you haven't seen it already. And in 131, we talk about Eat Cleaner, making sure our produce is nice and healthy and clean, and that we stay healthy with our produce. And you can actually use the code. We have a coupon code. It's eatcleaner.com/Chalene. So CHALENE. And what is the discount? It's
15%.
15% off for everybody. So you can buy all the bundles. You can buy every single thing. There's a lot on there for you to have fun shopping.
Yeah, and I think, you know, sometimes people think this will alter the flavor of your food. I mean, I think if anything, it enhances it, you know, because it takes the coatings off and
I mean, it still
the residue
just looks
that
so different, so clean, and I want to eat the clean ones.
So that's using the powder wash. What do you think?
Tastes great.
No aftertaste.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no like residue or anything.
How do you use the seafood and poultry wash?
So the seafood and poultry wash, you can just spray on the surface of your chicken or your shrimp. You don't have to rinse this off.
Oh, okay.
The reason we suggest rinsing with the fruit and vegetable wash is because usually it's kicking up wax or something that you want to rinse away. But with this, you just spray it on the surface and you're good to go. You can start cooking.
Cool. And then you use that one for the eggs too.
Eggs too.
Okay. Great. Well, great. Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Mareya. And check out Eat Cleaner. And make sure you guys keep yourself healthy. Share this with anybody you know who does a lot of fruits and vegetables. We need to make sure everybody stays safe. So
thank you.
Thank you.